man has always searched for ways to reach inside man, to find the center of himself, to capture a momentary joy that celebrates his existence. And maybe the closest he will ever come to that magical blend of pain and pleasure is when he competes against other men, and therefore against himself. Some men choose to compete on grassy fields, some on wooden floors or cobblestone tracks, and some on ice. But when a man straps skates to his feet to play a game called hockey, he finds this sudden freedom from gravity has a price. For he must now push himself past his previously earthbound limits of physical endurance. If he is to glide in dreamlike effortlessness, he must condition his body as for no other sport. His legs must bear the pain of his constant motion. His lungs must respond to every demand made by his body. He must be able to change direction, his entire body an extension of the stick in his hand. He must withstand the punishing contact with the boards and with the other players. And he must defend himself. When he's the goaltender, he must watch the puck with radar-like precision. Now a dancer, a ballerina, a contortionist, a stonewall. If he's good enough to play the game well as a professional in the National Hockey League, that effort can bring him to an arena filled with thousands of cheering fans, frustrated because they are still tied to the earth, and excited because they are part of this competition that has as its reward the exquisite joy of winning professional hockey's symbol of excellence, the Stanley Cup. The 1974 Stanley Cup playoffs opened in Atlanta with the surprising Flames in only their second year of existence, meeting the ravenous Philadelphia Flyers, first-place finishers in the Western Division. The Flyers, a team that became a perpetual motion machine, quickly advanced to the semifinals by defeating Atlanta in 4 straight games. Their next challenge was the New York Rangers, a team of slick skaters and shooters that had made the playoffs for 8 straight years and who had just defeated Montreal's Canadiens, the previous year's Cup winners, in 6 games. The series was marked from the very start with rough, aggressive hockey, the Flyers playing every period of every game like it was sudden death overtime. And when they won the exciting 7th game, they advanced to the final round, where they were to meet the equally aggressive Boston Bruins. Winners of the Eastern Division title, the Bruins played a young rebuilding Toronto Maple Leaf team in the opening round and took the series with 4 straight wins. The Bruins then faced the Chicago Blackhawks, who had eliminated the Los Angeles Kings in a low-scoring quarterfinal. Finding themselves down 2-1, Boston regained its explosive scoring power and charged back to win the next 3 games from Chicago. The orange-jerseyed Philadelphia Flyers, a well-disciplined band of big, aggressive, hard-working skaters, were out to prove to everyone that they belonged in this final round, competing against the very team whose style of play they had taken as their own. Boston, a team of proven veterans that included Bobby Orr and Phil Esposito, 2 of hockey's supreme beings, was determined to show the scrappy Flyers what hockey was all about when the Stanley Cup championship was on the line. With 12 minutes gone in the first period, Bobby Orr directs a Boston power play attack, skating through a maze of Flyers to set up Wayne Cashman for the game's first score. And exactly 1 minute after Boston's first goal, center Greg Shepard makes it 2-0, slamming in a rebound that had gotten behind Bernie Perrant, and the Bruins seemed to be establishing their superiority early in the series. By the second period, the Flyers had calmed the Butterflies and had cut Boston's lead to 1. And now, 5 minutes into the third period, they were still pressing hard for the tying goal. Boston kept trying to regain its offense, to somehow find a way to halt Philadelphia's momentum. But Perrant was steady, and no matter how hard the Bruins tried to keep the puck back in Philadelphia territory, the Flyers jumped on it and worked it back toward Boston's young goaltender Gilles Gilbert. When the puck scooted out from the corner, Philadelphia's marvelous young center Bobby Clarke took one shot, then another, and finally lifted it over the fallen goalie to tie it up 2-2. Then, as regulation time was running out, Philadelphia descends on the Boston net, where Gilbert and Bobby Orr, amid a tangle of bodies, combined to shut off the Flyers' attempt at the go-ahead score. Bobby Orr, a living legend to Boston fans since he first skated into this arena, has come through for them in dramatic situations like this before. And now, with less than a half a minute to go in the game, he can sense the pressure on him to do something considerably more than what they might expect from a mere mortal. Boston gets the face-off, and Cashman heads down the right side with the puck. Flyer defenseman Andre Dupont forces him into the boards, and the two get tangled up. But with 22 seconds left, Ken Hodge picks up the loose puck and sends it out to Orr, who fires a bullet that eludes Perrin and elates the crowd. The miracle worker from Parry Sound, Ontario, has sparkled again, and the Bruins' mastery over Philadelphia goes to 20 straight in Boston Garden. The Bruins open up Game 2, still on the attack, and score early, as Phil Esposito's rebound gets away from Perrin and squirts out to Cashman, who easily swats it in to give Boston a 1-0 lead at the 14:24 mark of the first period. Then, just 3 minutes later, Cashman returns the favor and practically puts the puck on Esposito's stick for the big center's first goal of the series. Boston 2, Philadelphia nothing. For the second time in 2 games, the Bruins jump off to an early 2-goal lead. Flyer coach Fred Shiro tells his team, keep skating, keep working. And the Flyers respond with a quick score at the beginning of the second period. Then, with 8 minutes to go in the game, Perrot's spectacular save on Greg Shepard keeps Philadelphia still only 1 goal away. With 52 seconds left, the Flyers come back down the ice. Rick McLeish controls the puck in the corner, feeds it perfectly to Dupont in front of Gilbert, and as fast as it takes him to fire the shot, Philadelphia has tied the score 2-2. Game 2 goes into sudden death overtime. With a little over 11 minutes gone, Clarke wins another important face-off, and the puck is gradually worked into Boston territory.
Schultz seeing his first overtime action with Flat, Jimmy Watson, and Van Imp. Back to Van Imp, up and over the near red line. Dumps it in, but can't as Marcotte blocks it. Goes to Clarke, back to Marcotte, all of this in center ice. Finally, Van Imp does get it in. Flips it to Gilbert. Knocked down in front by Vadnais. Wound around to O'Reilly. Forecheck by Clarke. Schultz breaks it up. Schultz behind the net. Centers. Flat. Tries to Clarke. Shot! Oh! Rebound! Score! Bobby Clarke scores! Scores the game winner! At 12 minutes and 1 second of sudden death overtime. He was blocked on the first shot. He made the second one, and the Flyers have picked up their win in Boston. The first win on this ice since November 12th, 1967. And the Flyers come back home to the Spectrum all even in games 1-1.
The Flyers come home to their Spectrum. But even before their welcoming cheers had died down, Boston breaks on a classic 2-on-2 rush, and quickly, the Bruins, in their gold and black away uniforms, take a 1-0 lead. But halfway through the period, with the Flyers now skating a 4-man to 3 edge, they work the puck around to the open man, Tom Bladen, at the point, and he fires through a screen of bodies and legs to tie the score 1-1. Flyers had given Boston a 2-goal lead in each of the first 2 games. But this time, their offense started early, and minutes later, they scored again to lead 2-1 at the end of the first period. Now, for the first time, it was the Bruins who had to come from behind. But the Flyers stopped everything Boston threw at them. And before it was over, Philadelphia scored 2 more goals, winning 4-1, and took the lead in this final series 2-1. The fourth game begins in the spectrum the way the third one ended, with Philadelphia aroused and confident on the attack in the Boston end of the ice. The Bruins were determined to stop the Flyers' momentum here, in this game. At the 4-minute mark of the first period, McLeish and Orr chased the puck behind the Boston net, but Ross Lonsberry body checks Orr out of the play, and Bladen has a clean shot from the point, which McLeish tips in to give Philadelphia the lead. Boston stormed right back, but after a Flyer defenseman blocks a Bruin pass close to the net, Don Selesky picks it up and headmans the puck to Dave Schultz, who shows he is more than just a fighter by driving a hard shot past Gilbert to give the Flyers a 2-0 lead after only 5.5 minutes of play. But the Bruins' experience and poise keeps them alive as they came back with some fine passing. Busick to Esposito, who snakes the puck between Perrant's legs to make the score 2-1. Minutes later, after a series of fighting and roughing calls had loaded the penalty boxes, each team now with only 3 skaters, Bobby Orr feeds Andre Savard, who fakes one Flyer, then fires a shot along the ice past Perrant to tie the score at 2-2 and put Boston right back into the game. Throughout the second period and continuing into the third, there was constant action at both ends of the rink as each team probed for an opening, carefully setting up each attack. But after the Flyers went ahead 3-2 on a goal by Bill Barber with less than 6 minutes to go in the game, everyone knew Boston could hold nothing back now, sacrificing defense for the goal they had to have. Flyers not only managed to control the puck, they went on the attack. Bobby Clarke maneuvering around until he could set up an open man, Andre Dupont, who stuns the Bruins with another Philadelphia goal. And as the fourth game ends, the spectrum explodes with joy, as suddenly, incredibly, the Flyers find themselves only 1 victory away from the Stanley Cup championship. Most turning points in competitions like this can only be established in retrospect, but both teams seem to sense at this moment that stardust had begun to settle on this Flyer hockey team.
Stay with me. Put your head on this side. Put your head on this side. Back up. Back up, David. Back up, David. Put your head on this side. That's it. That's all, David. That's all, Dave. That's all, David. That's all, Dave. David, that's all. All right, that's all. It's a long game. It's a long game. It's a long game. Stay with me. David, it's a long game. David, it's a long game. And it's an important game.
Only 24 seconds into the first period, Philadelphia's Schultz and Boston's Carol Vadnais start the parade of fights that continues with Wayne Cashman and the Flyers Van Imp a minute later as the aggressive Bruins strike out at anybody wearing a Philadelphia uniform. They're back in Boston now for Game 5, facing elimination in front of the very people who most believe that impossible. After 7.5 minutes of rough hockey, Boston now has a man advantage. Esposito fires, but Perrant smothers the shot. Boston continues the attack, passing the puck around, looking for the open man. But the hustling Flyer penalty killers block the shot, and the power play ends. Just in time, too, because now there's room in the penalty box for Moose Dupont, the gentleman who just got his head tapped, and O'Reilly, the gentleman who did the tapping. The game isn't quite 8 minutes old yet, but 36 minutes of penalty time have already been called. Boston gets control and breaks with Orr carrying the puck 2-on-1 around Bladen. Watch Orr. He sees Perron has his shot blocked, so he somehow, while diving through the air, passes the puck back to his trailing teammate Shepard, who lifts it up and over Perron to send Boston in front 1-0. Orr's brilliant play on that goal ignited his team. Skating now with that familiar Bruin lustiness, they overpowered the Flyers, time after time putting somebody in close with a clear shot at the goal. By the second period, after the teams traded goals, Boston still led 2-1 as Bobby Orr directs his team's offense. His play all night had been fantastic as he capped his domination with a blistering shot that made the score 3-1. Boston scored 2 more goals, and though the Flyers still led the series 3-2, it was time for their season-long good luck charm to make a personal appearance as the final shifted back to Philadelphia. Whenever the Flyers played Kate Smith's God Bless America before their home games, they seemed to have something extra going for them, winning 37 times with only 3 losses. But almost 14 minutes of the first period went by before the Flyers began to find themselves. After killing off a Boston penalty, they started putting real pressure on Gilbert, keeping the puck in the Boston zone and slowly converging a ring of attackers around his net. So many Flyers buzzing around after the loose puck, Gilbert holds for a face-off. With the mass of arms and elbows moving not quite at random, catches a pair of superstars, and Clarke and Orr tangle again. With each drawing 2-minute penalties, and Boston's O'Reilly already in the box, Philadelphia now has another 4-man-to-3 advantage. On the face-off, DuPont fires a shot that is steered in by McLeish, and the Spectrum is up and cheering. The Flyers take a 1-0 lead at 14:48. Boston had the better of the play to that point, and now, trailing by a goal, they really turned it on as the second period action moved to the Philadelphia end. A shot by Orr, blocked in front. Clear. Esposito gets it. Shoots. Cleared again, as Philadelphia can't take the heat off their goalie, who must protect their slim 1-goal lead as the minutes tick away. Boston swarms all around his net. Esposito back to the point. Hodge up close, shoots, a save. The Flyers try to clear. They can't. Another shot, a save, and finally Perron holds for a face-off and a chance to catch his breath as the pressure mounts. The Spectrum is in bedlam with only 2.5 minutes to go between them and the Stanley Cup Championship. Boston desperately firing away now, but Bobby Clarke takes a feed from Barber and dashes between 2 Bruins and heads towards Gilbert with Orr in pursuit. Orr grabs him and spins him off the puck to stop the breakaway attempt, but it's costly as he draws a 2-minute penalty with only 2 minutes 22 seconds left in the game. With Orr gone, the heart of the Boston attack is missing. Lonsberry intercepts a pass, but Gilbert comes up with another brilliant save. Time is running out on the Bruins.
13 seconds left in the game. 10 seconds. Orr shoots it down the ice.